everyone. Thank you so much for coming along today. I'm really excited. We've got a really awesome panel here to grill. Quickly, just to introduce you to everyone, first up we have Liz Matthews on the end here, who is one of the best publicists in the business. Liz started out as a journalist, moving on to co-found Laundry Communications in 2002 and setting up her company LMPR in 2006. Then next to Liz, we have Lisa Gregg, who's Vice President of Marketing at American Express. Lisa leads the team that is responsible for shaping the company's international product line and communication strategy across 160 countries. And next to Lisa, we have Angus, who has headed the board. You headed the board at Elite Premier Model Agency, where he managed the careers of iconic models like Naomi Campbell, Claudia Schiffer, and Christy Turlington. And next to me on my left is Sarah Shotton, who's the clever force behind one of my favourite lingerie brands, Agent Provocateur. And then we have the lovely Stavros Karelis, who's the founder and buying director of Machine A, which is the London-based boutique selling contemporary collections from a blend of emerging and established brands. And we're waiting on Mickey, who is one of the most recognised faces in New York, who is the editorial director and advice columnist at Paper Magazine. Okay, so we want to talk a little bit about celebrities and how they play such a big part of a lot of the panel's lives up here. And I just wanted to ask you about how you feel about modern-day celebrity and their influence now on the fashion industry, because it's changed a lot. I mean, I started modelling over 20 years ago, and it changed enormously since then. So what do you feel about that, Angus? Because, I mean, you obviously started out with all the supers. And how do you find your casting has sort of evolved?
It isn't about who you have in your show anymore. There was a little bit of a throwback time when, you know, some of the sort of mid-90s, late 90s supermodels came back and did a few shows. But I think that was really the transitional period. And now, on the sort of advertising side, we've seen just the most enormous upturn in sort of using celebrities, using real people, using, if you like, real celebrities. And what's more aspirational than somebody who's the best in the world at what they do, but is also really good looking and can communicate a brand?
Yeah, and Nadal looks pretty good with his top off in those ads.
I mean, I can't comment on that.
I mean, just saying. Liz, I think this is obviously a question for you as well, but because you work with celebrities on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Where do you see their positioning now within all the brands that you work with and so on?
I think the role of celebrities in fashion is hugely important and really kind of elevates, you know, combined with the press and the critics' reviews. I mean, talk about Alexa Chung, who I've worked with now for 11 years. You know, as somebody like that who's really revered and has been heralded as a style icon by many journalists can really break a brand. That girl wears a dress. It's like the Midas effect. I've never known anything like it.
And also, Sarah, I know that you have just been working with Paloma Faith. Is that right?
Yeah.
Who's the new face of Agent.
Yeah.
What's it been like? What does it mean to work with a singer like Paloma?
I mean, we're known anyway for sort of using celebrities for our campaigns. Obviously, one of the most famous ones was Kylie Minogue, and then we did obviously Kate Moss and Maggie Gyllenhaal. So really, for me, Paloma obviously was an AP girl, like I was an AP girl, you know. She was with the brand about 14 years ago. And so we wanted to go back to the heritage. And Paloma, for me, was the one that really had excelled. What we noticed as well when she was doing interviews on TV, she was always mentioning, you know, Agent Provocateur perfume and underwear. And we were like, this, you know, she's perfect for us and had the right kind of energy. So obviously it's done really well for us. And yeah, we love using celebrities. We would use more, but it's not that easy to get them to get their clothes off, basically.
Well, Mickey, we're going to have to come over to you and talk about your Break the Internet shoot.
I was going to say it's not so hard to get people to take their clothes off. I'm just kidding. I love celebrities. I do love I love super famous celebrities. The same with I like the young designers and the Tom Fords. I like the Alexa Chungs and the Miley Cyruses and the Kylie Minogues. I like the extremes. And the thing about, you know, people like Kim Kardashian is it's someone who everyone knows about or follows, and something that Alexa has in common with Kim, even though they're opposite extremes in a way, is their fans follow everything they do, and if they wear it, they want to buy it. If they, whatever they do, the fans want to do. And I do think that celebrities like that are important now, as opposed to a celebrity who's got a movie now and just shows up at a designer's show for money, who doesn't even know the designer, who has nothing to do with anything. That to me is boring and old, but it's new to have it's interesting to have celebrities that care about fashion and are interested in fashion and are real. And I think Kanye West fits in that mold.
With your work with American Express and the BFC, you sponsor and help promote a lot of the young, brilliant talent that we have here in the UK. And I just wanted to ask, what are some of the most rewarding things about that?
Well, firstly, just helping them. I mean, these are the people, as we all know, who need the help the most. Because they're sort of starting in their careers, they're really finding out who they are. And one of the things that we help to support them through is bringing in our finance and our brand and communications teams to just help nurture them along. And one of the things I always reinforce is just be really clear who your customer is. Be really clear who, if it's a woman or a man, who's the design target? What do they look like? What music do they listen to? What consumes them? What magazines do they read? Because it's really important, because you can, early on in their career, they're really easily influenced. I'm sure you see this as well. And it's important to stay true to who you are and not lose sight of that.
I was just wondering, how did you start out with paper and in magazine?
Well, paper was my favorite magazine. I'd always been addicted to magazines. I never thought you could even really have a job at a magazine. I didn't know anything. You know, when you love what you do and you're at a place that you really want to be, I didn't care if I had to stay all night or go on some crazy errand, and there's a lot of cuckoo bananas stuff that we have to do, you know. But I loved doing it and was happy to be there. So somebody quit, and they asked if I would answer the phones in the meantime till they figured out what to do, and that was 23 years ago. And I'm still there. So I kind of learned on the job, and that's why the thing that upsets me about this, people suing over these unpaid internships, is if you don't want to do an unpaid internship, don't. Absolutely 1,000%. Yeah. And I do think it would be great if everyone could be paid, but to me, the secret to success is to figure out where it is you really want to be and get yourself there. And once you're there, it's like a fairy tale just waiting for the happy ending to happen. You know what I mean? You can show them that you're amazing, show them that they need you, you know, and show that you should be there forever. And
thank you. And Stavros, I wanted to ask you as well a little bit about how you ended up in your job, because I don't think we really went there.
Well, I about 6 years ago, basically I remember that I was going to all these shows from CSM and Royal College of Arts and LCF, and I was seeing all these really amazing graduate collections with graduates. Now, back then it wasn't so many stores in London that they were supporting that young designers. I mean, it was really, really early stage of taking a graduate collection and putting it in a retail. So we started talking with some other people, and we said, let's create a space where actually we can sell these collections. And I went to Astrid and I went to all these different people, and I said, would you be interested in putting straight up your graduate collections into a retail store and see how they start performing? I think this is how it started, and Machine was in the beginning of this whole kind of interest of emerging brands, younger brands.
And Sarah, I wanted to come to you as well, because we're talking about with AP, for example. You've been creative director there now for
5 years.
5 years. How did you actually start with them?
I graduated from St Martin's in the 90s.
You always been interested in lingerie particularly, or was it just design
I
generally?
totally fell into it. There was a job just as office junior at Agent Provocateur, and I started then. I literally did an apprenticeship, like you say. I mean, like Joe and Serena would be like, jump, and I'd be like, how high, you know? And they'd be like, go to Broadwick Street and do the windows. You need to change the windows. And I'd be like, I can't do windows. And they were like, yes, you can. Just get in the car and get over there. And I'd be like, what am I going to do? And they'd be like, well, just make it up. And I literally just did bits of everything, and that's how it all came about.
Amazing.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Well, I just want to say thank you very much to all of you. I found that really interesting, and I hope you did too. Thanks very much.
Let's hear it for Jade. You did a wonderful job moderating.